Hence, in terms of numbers, many more children passed the 2022 PLE compared to the previous year. And for that we thank God. This is gratifying as we steadily recover from the effects of COVID-19 on the economy and well-being of the people. So I applaud the stakeholders in the education sector for this achievement indeed. As government, we assure the parents and guardians that we will continue to work with our institutions and the private providers of education to ensure that those who qualify for admission into post-primary institutions are placed in the secondary schools and the post-primary vocational institutions. Now, sadly, I have to address the problem of examination malpractices. As the Ministry of Education, we continue to express our deep concern over this vice. This year, there were a number of suspected incidences of external assistance of candidates. Unfortunately, this includes teaching staff who should be the custodians and role models of integrity and trustworthiness. I'd like to remind all our teaching staff now that these young people look up to them and replicate what you model before them. We must therefore demonstrate utmost discipline when fulfilling our roles and functions. Indeed, this is a universal requirement of humanity and in particular, the education profession. Furthermore, none of our cultural or religious beliefs condone cheating or dishonesty. In Titus chapter 2, verses 7 to 8, the Bible states, in quotes, "You yourselves must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. Let everything you do reflect the integrity and seriousness of your teaching. Teach the truth so that your teaching cannot be criticized," unquote. I therefore sound a strong warning to all head teachers who have been found attempting to institutionalize cheating by cutting open questions paper envelopes to access the questions before time, the question papers prior to the designated examination time. To desist this evil, the Ministry of Education and Sports will not tolerate examination malpractices, and we have said this many times, almost every year, as was witnessed during the 2022 PLE. Our scouts and security personnel assigned to oversee examinations and will cause the arrest, as you heard from my colleague before me, of all those engaged in examination malpractice. Please know that it will not be business as usual now, because now, as you heard from Mr. Odong, the UNEB Act of 2021 is out. It provides for punitive action for those found guilty of participating in and condoning this practice. I have the faith and confidence that our judicial officers will accord appropriate sentences to those found guilty, and we are hopeful that this is the first time that example will be seen out in the public so that people may know that this can no longer be accepted or cannot be business as usual anymore. I also acknowledge the fact that prevention is key to ending this vice. Consequently, I strongly appeal to the UNEB officials to purposefully engage all the relevant stakeholders and duty bearers in order to identify the areas of weaknesses and gaps that facilitate this vice and address them. We deliberate and concerted effort in order to bring an end to these practices. In the meantime, we make the commitment on our part as the Ministry of Education and Sports to provide unwavering support to the efforts of UNEB in this direction. I should also sound a word of caution here to the private providers of education who fail to present candidates to sit the examination that they were registered for, as was the case in Kakumiro district. This is no less than a criminal act, and I hope that by now the perpetrators have been brought to book. District education officials throughout the country must monitor such schools and consider them for closure before they do more harm to our children. No school should put their self-interests before the future and the development of our children in this manner. Actions such as these can have lifelong implications on a child's development and academic performance. They cause insecurity and impact negatively on the self-confidence of our children. In this regard, I express my sincere gratitude to the UNEB officials for their consideration of the plight of the 23 learners who almost missed out on the year's examination last year out of no fault of their own. I also affirm the chairperson's position that this act of offering an alternative examination does not create a precedent because the situation in this instance was unique. Finally, and very importantly, let me appeal to the nation that as a sector, we are not blind to the plight of parents and guardians as they grapple with the exorbitant school fees and charges in our schools. This has been a burden for some time. But we don't just talk about this without any firm evidence of what we're talking about. We don't just want to continue to talk about things that are affecting education as if we are doing nothing about them. We recently worked in partnership with a Norwegian embassy to carry out a study on the UPE program with the main aim of determining whether we need to charge fees or not in our government schools. You may wonder why we focus on the UPE program. Well, it is because this is where many of our vulnerable families take their children, and we are concerned that all our children access education, not just some. Still on the issue of regulating school fees in our schools, we constituted a committee headed by Professor Kayanja to conduct a study on the hiking of school fees and charges to help us make an informed decision on the way forward. This study brought a number of issues to the fore and is guiding our discussions at the sector level. This week, on Monday, we sought Cabinet's guidance on this issue. Cabinet has guided that all schools maintain the fees structure for third term of 2022 as we await further guidance on government on this matter. Please know that we are aware of the high commodity prices that have greatly affected the cost of running schools and life in general, but we must also be considerate of the plight of those parents and guardians. It is my prayer, therefore, that our schools, government-aided schools, and private schools will adhere to our guidance not to increase school fees in the next term as we all seek a fair and lasting solution to this matter. Yesterday, as the President was addressing the Kakumiro Day, he said to the public, he said that everybody should just stay tuned and wait and listen to to what government is going to say about these school charges, so that perhaps we can find a lasting solution. So government is really working hard. I want the parents and guardians to know that we understand and we care, and government is working very hard to find that lasting solutions. It is my prayer, therefore, that our schools, the government-aided schools, and even the private schools will adhere now to our guidance not to increase school fees in the next term, as we all seek a fair and lasting solution to this matter. In conclusion, I congratulate all the candidates who sat for the PLE. I congratulate the learners who have performed well. My appreciation goes to the school administration, parents and guardians for the support and sacrifices that you render to these children that led to their success. I'm also grateful to all the stakeholders in the education sector, the district leaders, the security personnel who played various roles in ensuring the success of the PLE examination. For those who were not successful with the PLE, I appreciate your courage, your hard work, and the effort you made to sit these exams. But while you have not achieved the grades you desired, I want to encourage you not to lose hope, but to trust in the Lord and believe that this is not the end of the road for you. Therefore, do not give up. Continue to focus on achieving your goals, seek counsel, and take advantage of the other opportunities as well as avenues in the education sector to advance yourself. You should also consider repeating so that you get better grades to enable you to achieve your academic goals. With regard to the selection exercise for Senior 1, this will be held on the 2nd and 3rd Feb 2023 at the Uganda Manufacturers Association Exhibition Hall. The date for reporting to school for Senior 1 will be the 20th of February 2023. It is now my singular pleasure to release the 2022 Primary Living Examination results to the public, and I want to thank you for listening to me. As you have already seen here,